Well, good afternoon, everybody. Thank you very much for joining. This is the Dell session, Overcoming Obstacles and Unlocking Opportunity with Dell Technology Services. And my name is Craig Worthen. I am a product manager in the Dell Services organization focused on HPC services. And I appreciate you taking time out of your schedule today to join this session, or if you're listening to it as a recorded session, thank you for taking the time to listen to the recorded session. Today, I'm going to be looking at a high-level overview of the HPC services that we offer here at Dell, so our portfolio. In that agenda, we're going to look at first overcoming industry challenges around implementing HPC and managing and supporting it, kind of what our customers are telling us that they're experiencing. We're then going to look at understanding those services that enable the outcomes that that Dell has examined and now offers, and our customers are utilizing. And then we're going to look at maximum high performance compute value that you get out of it, and then delivery best in class solutions. And we're going to close with unmatched breadth of our portfolio. So all in all, Dell, from the edge to the core to the cloud, we are industry experts in HPC. As a HPC leader and a leader for years, and we have decades of experience managing and designing, deploying, supporting, and managing HPC technologies. And so when we, over the last couple of years, said, hey, let's take a strong look at this and really understand where the pain points for our customers are, we discovered four main areas that really stood out. One was that many of our customers did not have the specialized skills to properly deploy, manage, support HPC clusters. And I think many of the folks in this industry are aware that that has become skills and talent that are harder and harder to come by as HPC has become more popular. And so this pain point is growing exponentially, and it's really driving a change in overall how customers view services. Number two, it can take months, a lot of time. It could take weeks, months, even years to implement some of these systems. And particularly if you're lacking those skills, it can be very difficult to actually get to the time where you're getting value out of it. Then once you do have it up and running, it is time consuming to manage multiple vendors or to manage the system itself. But overall, when you have any kind of issues and you've got a system that is an orchestra of many components, and many cases offered across many different vendors, it becomes very difficult to manage and support those. And so a big pain point from our customers. Another is organizations need their IT staff focused on the business, and they don't want the complexities of managing these systems. So we run across this a lot. Our customers will come to us and say, hey, we really, those HPC resources that we have are very limited, and we have a hard time finding more of them. So what we want to do is really get them focused on the strategic part of the business, whether that's designing the factory utilizing HPC, so much more strategic initiatives. They don't want their team chasing after infrastructure support issues or just managing the infrastructure. And so a big pain point there as well. So where does this really lead us to is really how Dell has approached helping to solve these kinds of problems, really in kind of three main areas. One is through expertise. So we talked about the fact that it's hard to find these resources. So Dell has built up a team of HPC experts across our deployment teams, our consulting teams, our support organizations, and our managed services. And those resources, both inside Dell and with partnerships with some of the leading partners in the market, we are able to bring that expertise to bear on customer problems. So if a customer is having a problem finding that kind of expertise, well, guess what? We have a huge bench of talent that we utilize to make sure that customers get the value out of their systems. Number two is around innovation. So as an example, our HPC Innovation Lab, which is extraordinary lab. In fact, it has it even has one of the top 500 systems in the world, Zenith, which is the, I think, 379th, number 379 out of the top 500. But we have many clusters there, and a lot of expertise in that lab, and we utilize that lab to support customer proof of concepts, designing new systems, validating architectures, all sorts of tasks that we do to support our customers. And number three, all of this is really focusing on the customer. So again, customer, number one, customer focus. So in that case, Dell is serves as a primary point of contact, particularly when customers are trying to manage a system and they're having some kind of support issues. Dell is that primary point of contact where we can help to manage and coordinate all of the efforts to get the customer where they need to be. And I know that becomes very complex. In fact, I'm going to touch on that in a minute when we get into more of the support and how in the HPC space, we have to look at support a little bit different than we do with just standard infrastructure. But before I get there, let me continue with just kind of the high level portfolio. And as I said earlier, this is really just an overview. If you are interested in any of these services, I would recommend that you engage with either your account manager, your HPC specialist within Dell, or your service representative within Dell. So any one of those three can help you to explore these different services further. But from a high level, we'll start with consult and manage. So on this side, our team can help with strategy, assessments, proof of value, and then all the way down into just full-on managed services. And so the team here, it's all about helping customers transform, or helping customers implement new technologies to transform, or implementing new technologies to innovate with new business models and such. So the teams here can really help with that effort. Number two is deployment. So as I said, we have a lot of experience. We've deployed thousands of clusters around the world, and many of those in the top 500. So we've deployed from the smallest clusters all the way up to some of the largest in the world. And I can't stress enough this team how fantastic they are, and the results that our customers get when they leverage the deployment team. I've worked alongside this team before, and it is nice when you're doing an implementation to have that level of experience that of folks who have worked on hundreds of these clusters, have seen pretty much all of the different problems that you can expect, and instantly have the solution to it. So there is no better way to implement a system than leveraging the Dell deployment team. And then the third is around support. So HPC, being made up of so many different pieces, yet at the same time needing to be finely tuned in such a way that you can get the best performance and the best outcome. Well, that's complex, and so it does require a different approach on support. So in this case, through our Pro Support line, alongside our Pro Support add-on for HPC, which combined brings you both the world-class Pro Support that just handles the overall just infrastructure support, but then with the added HPC add-on, the Pro Support add-on for HPC, you gain access to our core HPC support team with years of experience, again, supporting hundreds if not thousands of clusters. They've seen all the different problems, and through a whole ecosystem of third-party products that they coordinate and work with, they can get to quick resolution and solve problems for customers. There's really no better way to support an HPC cluster, I believe, than with this team. So all in all, that creates a whole range of standard offers as well as custom. So again, Dell always say, we offer these things up, but depending on what the customer's needs are, we can custom or tailor something more specific to a customer. I did forget one. I wanted to talk for a second on deploy. We talked about factory integration, and I skipped over factory integration. And I also like to stress this because that team does a fantastic job. There's no better way to have a system integrated, racked, labeled, cabled, and white glove shipped to the location, have it rolled in, plug it in, and it's already been tested, benchmarked, and it's up and running. So it's a fabulous way to quickly get to value within the customer environment. So if you want to eliminate risk and you want a professionally integrated and implemented system, then you definitely want to look at our factory integration services. And just diving a little bit deeper, if you look at our deployment offers, right, there's standardized deployment methodologies that ensure predictable outcomes and minimize the risk, right? So again, one, we've had a lot of experience in these areas, but two, we've documented and created process and procedure around them so that we can get to those predicted outcomes. And with that, we're able to move right from systems arriving to systems being implemented, quickly achieve their benchmarks and get to where they're in a production environment and jobs can start running. There is no faster way to do it. And then on top of that, these teams do all the LIMPAC benchmarks. And so, and then they actually then supply that over to the support team so that you even get better support later on. So there's a nice tie-off with support and deploy in that case. And then on the support side, as I said before, fast and accurate solution, simple and complex cluster issues, they've seen it all. They do this across a whole ecosystem of products, both Dell and third party, and they overall reduce the burden on your team because they are able to manage and orchestrate the issue and get to a resolution faster than other groups who would have to go off and try to figure out how to manage it across multiple vendors. And then just a couple additional services to touch on. One, educational services that we offer. I will say none of those are really necessarily HPC specific today, but there is a lot of residual. As many of you know, when you're building an HPC system, or when you're doing this kind of implementation, it's not done in a vacuum. There are all sorts of other technologies and projects that are happening typically around it. And so all of these services really kind of cut across all of those technologies, including our educational services. We talked about consulting, our managed services, skilled operations expert helping customers achieve business outcomes. We have several ways that we approach this, both remote, on-site, so we can address customer needs specific to what they're looking for. And then residency services, right? If you need somebody to stay longer and assist, then we have those capabilities in this portfolio. Just to touch on the last piece on the managed services, so monitor, operate, optimize. Again, we approach this through several different ways, and we work with several different partners that are well respected in this space and have achieved great outcomes for our customers. And so if you are looking for managed services, then please engage with our team and we can show you how the different ways that we can meet that need. And so then I believe this is my time is actually running out already. But so let me just touch on kind of the outcomes of all of this. So through the Dell services portfolio for HPC, we believe that is the best way to maximize the value of your systems. And through that, really three ways. One is to get more out of your technology starting day one. Right, the right service feature at the right price, but really it's all about the outcome of leveraging an expert team who has done this many times and getting to taking advantage of that expertise and getting to value faster than most other organizations would be able to on their own. There's a lot of value to that. I'm sure you would agree. Number two, the fact that we do have so much expertise and a strong history and experience deploying these systems that is there for our customers to leverage and again offers significant value, particularly customers who have limited skill set or limited resources in their own in-house and having a hard time finding these resources. Please reach out to us because we can help to fill that. And then number three, better together. So one of the things that we try to do across this portfolio, we talked about several different things, but really what we try to do across the portfolio is to integrate them. So you get really a single Dell experience with with the outcome that you want. And in doing so, our implementations are happen better and get better results because we're tied off better with our support organization, and you get better resolution because our support and deploy work together, and you get better managed services because all those teams are engaging throughout the entire life cycle. So it's really about life cycle services, and the fact that it's that communication and that integration between our teams that creates the great experience that you get within Dell and across the Dell HPC portfolio. And so with that, I am going to end there and just in closing say one last time that if you're interested in any of these services or want to hear more about them, then I welcome you to contact your Dell representative or your Dell HPC specialist or your Dell service representative. Any of those three can explore these further with you. And then of course, and lastly, as I said, my name is Craig Worthen, and I'm a product manager in services. And so through those teams, if you have additional questions for me beyond maybe a couple of questions we can do here, then I would invite you to certainly request to meet with me as well. And with that, I'll end there and see if Tori, if you want to see if there's